How I wish that
Please welcome to the stage from MGM Resorts International, Mr. Randy Dearborn.
there were 40 more. I wouldn't sleep.
With my Starbucks flavored water. Thanks for the Starbucks, David. So let's just continue baseball talk, all right? I'm a lifelong Dodger fan, and we have two of the best pitchers in baseball and all the money in the world, and we can't win. So I don't know what to tell you, man. So real quick, David's here. The cursor's up on the information screen outside there. That shit drives me nuts, okay? Mark, who's giving the tour? Okay, all right. Hi, welcome everyone. I apologize for F-bombs if they slip out periodically, but it's just my nature, okay? You can catch them. Actually, we should do a tally. We should do a prize for who can guess prior. So I'm Randy Dearborn, MGM Resorts, yada, yada, yada. This was the most difficult part of this entire volunteering to do this, is they asked me what my walk-on music was gonna be. And I'm a music major. So naturally, I wanted to do some obscure Zappa or Franz Liszt or something, but I thought I have to talk about this sign first, so it was so apropos. So full disclosure, I'm a Southern California boy, born and raised, been in Las Vegas for 22 years. I find this to be the most amazing tourist attraction ever created. In fact, the woman that created it in 1959 just passed away this year. It was built for $4,000 in 1959, and there is not a time of day or night where there's not people standing outside taking pictures of this thing. It's not marketed. It's amazing to me. It doesn't matter what the weather is. There's always a line of people. So much so that they literally reconfigured the center of the strip right there so people could park. In fact, they just expanded it for buses now. It's insane. But anyways, I have to talk about that. So I find Las Vegas the most amazing city on the face of the earth. It is the greatest experiment in marketing known to mankind. There are no major railways, there's no port, there's no river, there's no natural resources, and yet billions and billions of dollars have been invested into the desert. It's insane. It really is. I always joke it's where the horse died. A little bit about the city in general, okay? So these are numbers from 13-14, 40 million visitors a year, we did last year. We're expecting to exceed that this year. I show the convention business for a particular reason, is the convention business really sets the room rate for our entire city. If you notice when you go to Vegas, 1 week it'll be $400, and the next week it'll be $99. It's really based off the convention business. This is the other thing I find amazing, is that Wall Street doesn't track us more for what's going on in the economy. Because we can tell you right now, 2-3 years out, who's booking business in that convention space. What sectors are booking business? In fact, it's funny, after the crash of 08 and the comment of 08, Obama did and I don't want to get political, the comment about, the banks shouldn't be spending money on Las Vegas. Literally, our financial conventions instantly dried up. So, I mean, you could literally see what's going on in the economy as a whole through our convention. And as you can see, our international business, this is really because America's on sale, it's exchange rate. So that's the general on the city. So if you look at the Las Vegas Strip, and this line is the Las Vegas Strip, everything in orange, in fact, you see the blue is a retail mall, that's vacant land. So you see everything in orange is my company. What is my company? This is kind of a sample of what is on our portfolio. MGM, Bellagio, this is Aria, the city center, Mandalay Bay, Mirage. I've shown some other properties. We've got regional ones in Mississippi, Detroit. Down at the bottom there is in Macau. I'll show you some projects that we're working on right now. But this really is what MGM Resorts is. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you is specific to our company, not other competitors within Las Vegas. People think we're a gaming company, but I'm not a gaming company. This is just the Las Vegas Strip. I'm a hotelier. I'm a food and beverage company. I'm a retail company. I'm a convention company. I'm an entertainment company. I'm all these companies under this umbrella called MGM Resorts. And it's tough to really comprehend just the massive size and scale of what goes on in our building. The next slide I'm going to show you, the forefathers of Las Vegas are rolling over in their graves. And once again, this is specific to my company. If you looked at a Caesars or a Sands or Wynn, it wouldn't break out the same. Only 1/3 of my revenue is from gaming. So you can see, like I said, you put the tag on that I'm a gaming company, but really, it's all the ancillary revenue. Real quick, this is a peek into what's going on right now. This is on the top right-hand corner. We're building a 3rd arena. That's in the back, Las Vegas Arena. We're building a park leading back to a plaza that's in between New York, and Monte Carlo. Over on the top left is National Harbor. That's will open fall of next year. I'm not sure you're familiar with National Harbor is in Washington, D.C., Maryland area, across from Alexandria, right on the river there. Bottom right is Cotai. We're doing an expansion in Cotai. And then the other one is in Springfield, Massachusetts, if you can believe it, whose heyday was producing munitions for the war. So they're looking for some other source of revenue. So I get asked this all the time, what do you do for a living? And this is the answer I love to give. I acquire content and disseminate it accordingly. And usually the conversation goes dry, or I get that still. My neighbor is an attorney, right? He's a PI attorney. And when people ask him what he does for a living, he always tells people he's an English teacher. He goes, because if I tell him I'm a personal injury attorney, you know. So what I do is I create, control, monitor the hardware, software, and content for over 50,000 displays. And I say that I do, but really there's 2 people in the room here, Sherry Nikishin and Adam Feldman. Sherry runs my software, Adam runs my hardware. They're the ones that really do it, okay? So how do we look at our content? We look at it at low rise and high rise. It's kind of how we break it up, all right? So I'm going to give you some samples. This is low rise, typical, and this is everything from an end cap to a video wall to a marquee. That's a 260-foot tall, $20 million LED screen out in front of Aria. It's a good thing about being in Vegas. We get capital. These are table game displays that almost killed Allison about 5 years ago. And food and beverage displays up top. I've got some other food and beverage displays. So in the convention, wayfinders. I want to talk real briefly, because we're going to talk about it in an example a little bit later. The center one, this is a food and beverage interactive touchscreen. I learned just a wealth of knowledge on this touchscreen. What happened is when this first went into development, and this was years ago, it literally was tied to an Excel sheet. And what would happen is food and beverage would call us every day and want to change we would be changing the item, the description, and the price. But more importantly, what they would do is they would comment on the content. We don't like that font. We don't like that color. Oh, can you put another picture in there? I want to pull my freaking hair out. And so what we learned was, let's give them control. It's pseudo control over changing those descriptions, those minor things. And once we did that, they stopped commenting on the content because they were so busy changing pricing and description and things like that. It was an invaluable lesson. And like I said, I'll give you an example of how we kind of expanded that later. These are social screens. These came up, Sherry, how long have we been doing these? 4 years? This started off at the MGM Grand at the front desk. MGM Grand, 5,000 room hotel with another 1,800 rooms on the back with a product called Signature, which is kind of a hotel condo product. And at the front desk, you can imagine the lines that queue up there. And so what we came up with, we said, hey, look, there's 3 video walls in there. Let's do one of them as a Twitter wall. And really, it was really to divert attention so people didn't realize they just stood in line for 20 minutes to check in, right? Let's ask them questions. We'll expand it to Instagram. They can post things. And we couldn't imagine how this thing took off. I mean, like I said, we put it as, I refer to it as a squirrel with a shiny object. We were just trying to divert people's attention, right? Look over here, look over here. So we put this in, we asked questions. One thing I got to tell my HR story. So I love this story, I'm sorry. I'm going to run long, David, don't you? So we turned the thing on New Year's weekend, right? And I get a call from a guy named Tim Kelly, who's the vice president of hotel ops. And he's in panic mode. He says, turn the screen off, turn this Twitter wall off. And I'm like, what's wrong? 3 separate people had complained about a front desk attendant in a nice manner, slow and rude, right? So they're complaining about her right behind her back. And I told Tim, I said, this is the greatest HR tool you've ever had in your life. And I get a pause, and he goes, oh my God, you're right. So, anyways, we scrub all the content. I'll show you an example of that. But the thing that I didn't realize was that, number one. But the other thing was that outlets within the property, a lounge, a restaurant, use it to do instant promotions. So they will post, hey, 2 for 1 drinks right now at this venue or that venue. I never anticipated that. Now, like I said, we scrub all the content. Once again, I love this slide. So this is data. This is data that Sherry collects, and this is for CES. These are a little bit dated. So Consumer Electronics Show. So you can see we were getting during the week there. They're typically up 4 or 5 days. During the week there, we were getting 24 tweets per minute. You can see how much filtered content came through the display. 170,000 tweets got through, right? And then you can see the social reach, because people are pinging, this, that, and the other. This is the Country Music Awards, and this is my favorite one, is the Mayweather fight. So so you can see CES, 24 tweets per minute, 170,000 got through. The Mayweather fight, 291 tweets, only 7,000 got through, because we can't really discern between fuck yeah and fuck you, okay? So, but it just shows the types of crowds that we get in here, all right? So this is something we came up with a couple of years ago, and this is me trying to get rid of the traditional directional signage and turn it digital. And have the properties really got the hang of this yet? That's painful, I gotta deal with operations. My motto is always just get the hell out of my way. What we want to do is dynamic signage. So in the morning, people want to know where Starbucks is. They want to know where the convention center is. They want to know where the pool is, right? And throughout the day, this should be dynamically changing. So when the pool is closed, no one needs to know where the pool is. At 10 o'clock when a showroom's letting out, this should be lit up where the clubs are. Where are the nightclubs? Where are the lounges? So we've got this at several properties now. Like I said, they still haven't figured it out, but we don't care. We put it in. This is, oh my God, how long ago did we meet on this? And I still haven't done what I want to do. This was a long time ago. It's when the ESPN zone was still around. So this is, I got the displays in. I want to create an interactive race and sports book. All right, this is at the Mirage. This was a custom screen made. I had a custom screen. I forget how big the damn thing is. I know it's 10,000 pixels wide, and it's 3 seamless 4K projectors. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to create kind of a little VIP area that we would give the customer control of a certain portions of the real estate. So you'd come in and then you've got control. You can put whatever game you want. You want to put your fantasy sports league stuff up. You want to play Xbox up there. So, it'll get there eventually. Actually, I'll tell you one thing that has somewhat gotten in the way of it are these. And actually, I should have put some live pictures out there on these. These are interactive displays that we've started to roll out in race and sports, some lounges. We actually have in a couple coffee houses. And what they are is, once again, you can pick your programming. You can play My Vegas it's a Facebook app on it. We can do marketing to it, restaurants and things like that. We'll start to see this grow. Really, what's happening right now is Vegas is the gamers and gaming are starting to collide, and it's, the blue-haired slot ladies are starting to die. And so you're going to see that floor start to change. I don't know if anyone has ever seen a slot tournament. It is the most obscene thing in my life. Picture this. People pay for this shit. They sit in front of a slot machine, and this is what they do for an hour. I don't get it, but what do I know? So this entire network is driven off Macs, all right? I'm a big Mac guy. David, I know you've heard the story 100 times. Do I tell the story? All right. So David is a kid. I mean, he's still a kid. I don't know, what did you have, like 15 people in the company? We're looking for a scheduling software, and I'm a 30-year Mac guy, all right? And I'll talk a little bit why I'm a big Mac guy. David comes to see me. Well, we looked at their software, their scheduling software, and this is years ago. Like I said, they were a little shop. And he comes to see me, and I look and I say, hey, you know what? I like your software, but there's one caveat. I need it written for the Mac, and it wasn't written for the Mac OS. And he agreed, and I said, look, if it doesn't work, because I'm literally selling my soul at this point, if it doesn't work, I will drive to your house and burn it to the fucking ground. So he moved. So now he lives in a tower protected by security. I got to burn the whole damn building down. Right? Oh, that's what I forgot. A little housekeeping note. In our buildings, when the fire alarm goes off, if it is a woman's voice, it's a false alarm. If it is a male voice, get the hell out of the building. So I don't know if that's everywhere, but I know in my buildings that's that way. So I know, I just reminded myself of that. And I got to stand still. The camera guy's got to follow me on. So there's another reason. Look, and I can talk for 3 hours about Mac and the history of Apple, but really the key for us running on Apple, on the Mac platform, is IT left us alone. And it enabled us to move at light speed, because I didn't have to go through that quagmire that is IT. So that's the low rise. We're going to talk a little bit about the high rise displays. So we started about 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago. The lodge nets, the hospitality networks of the world, that world is gone. You know, it used to be, it's like on the airlines where you could watch a first run movie that you couldn't get anywhere else. You know, everyone's bringing their content with them. And so what we did is we really invested. I've got this coax, this RF cable in the buildings, a lot of it. Like I said, 42,000 guest rooms just on Las Vegas Strip. And what we did is we literally made a conscious decision to switch that over to what's called the DOCSIS 3 network and really turn that analog world into a digital world. I literally have built the largest DOCSIS 3 network in my industry, literally in the hospitality industry, anywhere on the face of the earth. And so what we did is we took that coax cable and we spit, a digital infrastructure up there. Part of it is IPTV. It also is a communication to talk to Wi-Fi, mini bars, door locks, thermostats. It really brought, a network up into the tower over that cable. This is an example of this is MGM. This is a startup screen, once again, and it has targeting messaging on it. You can target it based on your room folio or group codes and things like that. But just as important, there's analytics behind all this. So the screen on the right is just VOD sales. It's funny. See, now I'm going to cross the line a little bit. It's funny. I can literally look at porn sales and tell you when conventions are in town. You can literally go, oh, there must have been a convention in this week. And then the other part, the screen on the left is menu data. It's tracking everything that people are looking at on that room. This is where it gets creepy, all right? I actually need to update this slide. I've had this one up for a little while. This is actually from Super Bowl Sunday, not last year, but the year before. I know what you're watching. You can see, that's Fox. That's what was on, Super Bowl was on Fox that year. So I know that you're into the Kardashians, because you're watching the Kardashians while you're in my hotel room. And then I know that the Klan is going to be here for a nightclub or something like that. Now I can market to you because I know exactly what your viewing habits were. So there's some creepy stuff for you. Okay, so a sample of some use cases. This one we just did not that long ago, hell, 2 months ago. And it's funny, we really didn't put that much time and effort into it. This was a 10-day promotion. This was for the Love So at Mirage. We actually did it at Mirage in New York. 2 Cirque shows. And what we did is we just flooded the network with a show promotion. So this is another thing that I fight over. This promotion was $79. And I thought, it's the Beatles. It should be the summer of '69, right? It should be $69 promoter. You can tie the whole thing in, but I'm dealing with kids here. So we flooded the network and really didn't even change the normal scheduling pattern. I mean, we just kind of layered it on top, pushed it out through the network, 10-day promotion, and we sold an additional 1,000 tickets, which was about $86,000 in revenue. That was a little 10-day sample. So just a sample of really how powerful this is if you do it correctly. And like I said, this was really kind of just pushing it out. This is an interesting one. These are, we had start putting out drink, wine, and dessert menus on tablets, all right? And by the way, food and beverage thinks they're saving the world. So, because we always joke, this is another story that I know my people have heard 1,000 times. I sat in a room with 10 vice presidents of food and beverage and argued over the word bubbles for an hour. Some wanted champagne, some wanted sparkling wine, some wanted champagne and sparkling wine. I'm like, you've got this much real estate. So what we learned from this is a couple of things. We learned that sexy images of drinks actually work. They actually sell. And so we put these in a lounge, and literally we saw drink sales go up 37% just based off drinks. Now the bad side of it is if people are buying more drinks, they're not buying wine. In fact, we're starting to convert some of those. I know I just talked to David, who bought me some lovely coffee this morning, that we're gonna start transferring some of these wine menus just into a drink and snack or drink and appetizer and get them out to more of the lounge menus and things like that. But like I said, pretty pictures, they work. Okay, so here's a tie back to the food and beverage screen that I was talking about earlier. So what we actually hired, there's an analytical group, and we hired a menu engineer. I love that I love that term. I don't know if you're familiar with Rockwell. They're a group out of New York that does architecture design work. They have on their staff, and literally his title is Thinker. I'm like, I so want that freaking job. Just go ask the Thinker. And they say he just wanders around, roams the hallways, and I think you need one, David. I think I'm your guy. Okay. What are you thinking about today, Randy? Anyway, so what they learned is literally placement on the menus, on the printed menus. If you highlighted stuff, I'll give you a little secret. If you line all your menu items up, people naturally gravitate to the cheaper items. But if you stagger them and highlight it, you can draw people into certain areas. So this is all great. We can promote this stuff out on the digital side, but there's still venues that have printed menus. How do you get past that? And what was happening literally is the printed side was getting hung up in internal graphic art department. I mean, it was literally taking like 10 months to get menu changes out. And so what we did is we took that same tack that we did on the screens out front with this web browser interface where food and beverage had somewhat control, and Sherry's group did this great job of basically building the framework, letting these analytical guys change these menus quickly, rapidly, and then just push it out to print. And literally, we were losing literally $100,000 a month because they couldn't do change items. And this was only in a select few venues. I mean, this isn't even across the whole portfolio. So another, how you still have to deal with the print world, digital world, how do you bring these two worlds together? And then finally, look at, this is just communication. We have 64,000 employees corporate-wide. How do you get out information? We've got, actually, David, they've got a real nice system, I tell you. We kind of underutilize ours, quite frankly, in their offices. It is really, really nice. This really just pushes out information to the employees, different benefit updates, weather, traffic, breaking news, things like that we push out. But that's kind of what goes on back of house communications. So I'm 53 seconds over. So that is my bit. I don't know if you have any questions. If you do, I don't know how we are on time. If not, I'll get the hell off stage and you can try and find me. Adam and Sherry are right there. Any questions? That was easy. I've overwhelmed them. I've answered everything. Thank you.
Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.